From the moment we're born, we're taught how to earn money. But almost nobody teaches us how money actually works. We spend years chasing income, while the wealthy spend years building assets. The difference seems small, until one becomes financially free, and the other spends a lifetime working. So why do most people never build real wealth? The answer has almost nothing to do with intelligence, and almost everything to do with psychology. Most people believe that earning more money automatically leads to becoming wealthy. It sounds logical. If you earn more, you'll have more. But history tells a different story. There are people who earn millions every year, yet end up bankrupt. And there are ordinary people with modest salaries, who quietly build financial security over decades. Because income and wealth are not the same thing. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what stays and continues working for you long after you've earned it. That's the first truth most people never learn. The second truth is even more surprising. Your brain was never designed to build wealth. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors didn't worry about retirement, stock markets, or investment portfolios. They worried about surviving until tomorrow. Food, shelter, safety. Their brains rewarded immediate action, immediate comfort, immediate rewards. That same wiring still lives inside us today. Every time you buy something you don't really need, every time you tell yourself you'll start saving next month, every time you choose comfort instead of discipline, your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. But the modern world rewards something completely different: patience, consistency, delayed gratification. Building wealth often means sacrificing today's small pleasures for tomorrow's greater freedom. And that's why it's difficult. Not because it's impossible, but because it goes against our instincts. There's another trap that quietly keeps millions of people from building wealth. Lifestyle inflation. Imagine getting a promotion. Your income increases. Instead of investing the extra money, you buy a more expensive car, move into a bigger apartment, upgrade your phone, take more expensive vacations. Soon, your expenses rise just as fast as your income. You earn more than ever. Yet somehow, you still feel broke. This cycle repeats itself year after year, not because people are lazy, but because success often changes spending faster than it changes thinking. One of the greatest investors in history, Warren Buffett, still lives in the same house he bought decades ago, not because he can't afford something bigger, but because wealth isn't built by proving you have money. It's built by making your money work for you. The truly wealthy often ask a different question. Instead of asking, "What can I buy?" they ask, "What can I own that will grow?" That simple shift changes everything. Many people spend money on things that lose value. Others spend money on things that may produce value over time. That's the difference between consuming and building. Imagine planting a tree. The first year, almost nothing happens. The second year, still not much. If you judged the tree after only a few months, you'd probably think it wasn't working. But underground, the roots keep growing. Then one day, the growth becomes impossible to ignore. Wealth works the same way. The early years often look boring: saving, investing, learning, repeating the same habits. Nothing feels dramatic. But over time, small decisions begin producing surprisingly large results. This is the quiet power of compounding. It's one of the most powerful forces in finance. Yet most people give up before it has time to work, because we live in a world that celebrates instant success. Social media makes it even harder. Every day, we see luxury cars, designer clothes, private jets, perfect vacations. But what we rarely see are the loans, the debt, the failed businesses, the years of sacrifice, or the quiet discipline that came before the success. Comparison is expensive, not because it costs money directly, but because it encourages unnecessary spending. Trying to look rich is often one of the fastest ways to stay poor. Real wealth is surprisingly quiet. It doesn't always announce itself. Many financially successful people don't look wealthy at all, because they understand something most people overlook. Money is a tool, not a trophy. The purpose of money isn't to impress strangers. It's to create options. Options to choose where you live, how you spend your time, who you work with, and what kind of life you want to build. Perhaps the greatest luxury isn't owning expensive things. Perhaps it's owning your time. Time is the one thing money can never replace. Lost money can often be earned again. Lost years cannot. That's why many wealthy people spend money to save time. They invest in learning, systems, businesses, people. Not because they're avoiding work, but because they're protecting their most valuable resource. Then there's one final truth. Schools teach mathematics, science, history, languages, but very few people are ever taught how money behaves. Many graduate knowing how to pass exams, yet never learn how debt works, how investing works, how risk works, or how wealth quietly grows over decades. That knowledge often has to be learned outside the classroom, and the earlier it's learned, the more valuable it becomes. Perhaps the greatest truth about money is that money itself was never the destination. Money cannot buy purpose. It cannot guarantee happiness. It cannot replace meaningful relationships, and it cannot create fulfillment on its own. But it can buy freedom. Freedom to make choices. Freedom to help others. Freedom to build something meaningful. Real wealth begins long before your bank account changes. It begins with your habits, your patience, your discipline, your willingness to think years ahead instead of only days ahead. Because the people who build lasting wealth rarely spend their lives chasing money. They build skills, they create value, they protect their time, they allow small decisions, repeated consistently, to become extraordinary results. The untold truth about money is that the greatest investment you'll ever make isn't in stocks, or real estate, or cryptocurrency. It's in yourself. Because your knowledge, your skills, your discipline, and your mindset will influence every financial decision you make for the rest of your life. Invest in those first, and everything else becomes easier. Perhaps that's why the richest people in the world never stop learning, because they understand one simple truth. Money follows value, and value begins with the person you become. That is the untold truth about money.